And we are live. Welcome, everybody. What do you think of the pink? I'm going to metrosexual look because we're going to talk about a real metrosexual today. A big city boy, a real puffy, a real cupcake. Maybe even call him a snowflake. An editor, actually. A guy in the racing community. Real disappointing. Member of the media. And, well, we'll talk about him later. We'll get into that when we get into it. But beautiful day here in Minnesota. Windows open. We're going to hit 75 degrees for the first time. I actually got a little color in my face. So you'll see the flags moving. We got the windows going. Sounds like it was a beautiful day, day and night yesterday down in Georgia. Golden Isle, Lucas Oil late models, back on the track. James Essex saying it was like 90 degrees, hot and humid. Some great racing down there. Jimmy Owens continuing his domination. Great season. He's got 6 wins, so far this year. And James had said that it's been 100 days since a Lucas late models raced, and it really got me thinking, like, wow, they don't have breaks like this anymore. Dirt late models, the season is basically all year now, right? I mean, if you're racing the Lucas Series, sure, you're done at the Dirt Track World Championship about the middle of October. And if you're only going to do that and you're not going to do the World Finals, you take some time off, you're not going to race those speed weeks. If you're going to hit the World Finals, or if you're a member of the World of Outlaws, you're going all the way to the first week of November. Now, the World of Outlaws don't have a lot of racing in October, but of course, many of them are hitting the Lucas shows that are still going on in October. Then, of course, this year we had the Extreme Dirt Car Winter Series, right? So, there was races in December and January and February. And then, of course, the crown jewel of the winter is the Gateway Dirt Nationals. If you're somebody in dirt track late model racing, the pay isn't necessarily the best, but the crowds are great. You're selling a lot of t-shirts right before Christmas. People need Christmas gifts. And the social media exposure just blows up, right, with this Gateway Dirt Nationals. You got all the stars. You got NASCAR guys coming down and racing, mods or the midgets, etc. You got the intros. I mean, nothing blows up on social media like this Gateway Dirt Nationals. And part of that is because, think about it, in the summer, if you're not at the races, you might be at the cabin. You might be having a cold one on your patio. You might be camping. You might be fishing. There's just so much to do in the summer. What do you do in December? I know where I'm at. You know what? The weather is miserable. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm in the house, all right? I'm where it's warm. I'm out of the wind. I'm out of the elements. So what do? You jump on. You're following it, right? So that thing has been completely blown up. So these guys, 100 days off, pretty rare. So I'm sure some of them kind of liked it. Spend some time with the kids, spend some time with the family. The pit guys can go home. It's kind of a different, if you think about it, it's just racing is just not a summer sport anymore. So anyway, the boys are in Georgia, slinging some mud last night. And I got a headline this morning that I saw came across on CNBC that there are only 1,000 hospitalizations for the COVID in Georgia. So it got me thinking, hey, let's bring fans to the race tonight. Let's have fans at Golden Isle at the Lucas race tonight. Now, some of you may say, well, Pooka, the only reason they got 1,000 people in the hospital is because they're doing what they're doing. That could be true. But I don't know what they're basing it on. I'm worried that they've made some of this decision based on the media. And I'm going to talk about this media member here in just a second. But the news just came out this morning, obviously, on this COVID. So now they know new news. They said, they have Atlanta in the state. Atlanta's a huge town. They have a big population, 1,000 people. That's it, 1,000 beds because of the COVID. Lucas, I'm telling you've got an opportunity. Maybe it's not tonight, maybe it's tomorrow night. Take a look at this. But if you were listening to the media, I got some stuff on the media for you, Lucas, that might be able to help you with the decision. So we've got this Shane Walters that some of you might know. He's actually an editor. He's in the racing media business. I'm not going to name his publication because I don't want to give this negative Nelly any more exposure than he deserves. But after I heard the headline, after I watched the races, I heard the headline about Georgia. I remember reading this article from April 16th. And I remember leaving that article thinking, gosh, we're going to be lucky if we see racing this summer at all. Or maybe they'll start racing in August with no fans in it. And I know some of you others have seen this article too, because I did see it later on shared on social media. So this is Mr. Walters. Says, I'm speaking to you from uptown Charlotte. Metrosexual, very prim and proper, downtown Charlotte. Down below sits a church, and he talks about the empty road, and a fox ran across the road. This is at the height of the stay-at-home order. And unfortunately, this article is nothing but negative, negative, negative. And I almost fell for it. See, for those of you who've been watching the blog, I've been saying, you know, and I've got a wife that's on chemo, so we're pretty much stay at home anyway. But it was like, you know, I just got the feeling about May 1st, we're going to open. Now I was a little ahead, you know, and even in here in Minnesota where I am, it's not officially open. But I know when I'm traveling on the roads now, the traffic is back to where it was in February. It's not where it was April 1st, I can tell you that. So whether we officially open, people are out and moving. Even my wife, like I said, who's on chemo, got out of the house this weekend. We paid a visit somewhere. So, you know, we're open unofficially, okay? People are moving, all right? We're not in lockdown city here. But this guy wanted everybody to be locked down forever. And let me give you a couple examples here. So he quotes the governor of California in this article, who's Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom says, like I said, this whole thing was negative. Do not listen to the media. I've been telling you guys, we're opening, things are moving faster, we're gonna have fans in the stands sooner than later. Do not listen to people like Mr. Walters or Gavin Newsom. The prospect of mass gatherings is negligible at best until we get to herd immunity and until we get to a vaccine. As of today, this minute, this hour, we do not have a vaccine for the COVID, the China virus, the coronavirus. We do not. This is what Gavin Newsom, I'll carry on what he's saying. So large-scale events that bring in hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands are inconceivable at this time. You know what they announced yesterday? Didn't they announce yesterday, like, the Lakers are going back to practice? California is going to start opening up. This was April 16th. Today is May 20th. It's basically been like a month. He's making it sound like, you know, he said bring in it's just inconceivable. Mass gatherings. Well, we'll see. Maybe he's not going to do the mass gatherings for sure, Mr. Newsom. But I'll tell you what, your state's opening up, and you were quoted as saying like 10 days ago that this is like a stay-at-home order might go until July. Okay, so we're not all listening to you. Okay, here's another item that was written by Mr. Walters in the article. Pump all the brake pedals. Italy went on lockdown around February 21st, 2020, more than a month ahead of most areas in the United States. Italy is still on lockdown. So Italy was still on lockdown, went on February 24th. This article came out on the 16th of May, or 16th of April. They were still on lockdown. And he says the United States will be extending their lockdowns. He knows, he's official. Mr. Walters is official. They will be extending their lockdown in most areas. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This article, April 16th. 2 states opened up 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later. Georgia, where they're racing, and South Carolina. And the reason Georgia is so significant, and the reason I found this data on Georgia is, like I said, Georgia opened 2 weeks later on the 1st of May. What do they say about the COVID? 2 weeks, asymptomatic. The thing could kind of brew in you, and then it could blow up. You didn't even know you had it for 2 weeks, and it'll blow up after that. Well, I was kind of watching all weekend. The 2-week period was the 15th, right? Friday the 15th, 5 days ago. 2 weeks. So I was watching this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, just waiting to see this blow up because of how contagious this is. Nothing happening. 1,000 people in the hospital in the entire state of Georgia. Do not listen to the media. You're better off listening to Pooka than listening to the media. Fans, don't be frustrated. You're going racing sooner than you think. Let me give you another one here. By the way, I just heard a headline on CNBC2 that Disney and SeaWorld are they're going to be announcing their plans for reopening. That was just a headline within the last half hour. All right. So here's what he says about dirt tracks in particular. Dirt tracks. They're totally effed. And they're going to be absolutely shocked to hear it. All right. Again, this was the 16th of April. You know what? 2 weeks later, actually a week after this, basically a week after this article, Terry McCarl raced in South Dakota. Remember that race? With fans, right? Terry McCarl raced in South Dakota with fans. Missouri raced 2 weekends ago, the 9th, right? Or 10 days ago, with fans. What are you talking about? Dirt tracks are totally effed. Golden Isle held a race last night. There's ways of using the TV to get exposure. Golden Isle didn't turn the lights on for free. Lucas is paying them. They're making some money. Yeah, not every track is running, but dirt tracks are not totally effed. They're racing in Jackson, Minnesota this week in the World of Outlaw Late Models. They raced last week and they had the Great Lakes Shootout for the IRA Sprints. Had 63 cars, okay? Dirt tracks are not totally effed. Again, This is just the media blowing things up. Do not listen to the media. I mean, this is fans. You're going to be back sooner than you think. This negativity, I'm just so sick of it. You know, like I said, I got a lot of pushback. I got DMs on this, you know, when I was saying, you know, watch, May 1st is coming, May 1st is coming. Like I said, I was a little ahead, but I'm going to be proven to be right that things are open a lot sooner than people think. So again, Lucas Oil, it's your decision, but I'm telling you what, you should invite the fans tonight, social media, and get that out there, pumping out there fast, or you can just, you know, announce tonight that, hey, we're going to have fans on Thursday night. That'll finish up the swing, and then next week they move into Florida. So do not believe the negative media, everybody. Keep your chins high. No sense of being negative ever. It doesn't do any good, and we will catch you on the next vlog.